Hey, did you guys realize that if you're a renter and you buy a house, it's like freezing your housing expense for the next 30 years at today's rate of payment? You know, we do that. We've done this show a couple of times in the past. We always get somebody who's like, "We know that, Brian. It's a stupid thing to bring up," you know. And so we kind of hesitate to talk about this, but it doesn't change the fact that it's true, and it doesn't change the fact that you guys don't use this as a rational talking point when you're trying to get folks to buy houses, to make healthier decisions for themselves and for their families.
One of the other reasons that we're bringing it up is because it's once again a national topic of discussion. In fact, CNN just did a story that says April's year-over numbers indicate that rents increased 4% while sales prices rose 3%, meaning renting is outpacing the cost of buying. That, by the way, is a great talking point. Pop that in an email, link your past clients to the story, which by the way is provided down below, and tell them if they know renters, they ought to buy, and they ought to call you.
I brought my egghead to talk to your egghead while you and I make out.
We understand that you guys know this, but why aren't more folks buying houses right now? Well, consider the New York Fed just did a survey that found 45.6% of the respondents strongly prefer owning a home, but 72.6% cite difficulty in obtaining a mortgage. Now, 22% prefer owning, but 59% of those think getting a mortgage is just going to be too darn hard. And only 19.2% prefer to rent. Guys, we're still a nation of aspiring homeowners, yet we now have more renters than we've had for generations.
The New York Fed Board survey goes on to show that 60% of renters and owners alike believe homeownership is a good investment, and only 1% think owning a home is a bad idea. 1% is nothing, and even if we said, okay, let's assume that 10% of our population is really dumb, and 9% of those people got it right.
Okay, so we now know that people want to buy homes, but that could really be an emotional response that's not necessarily based in logic. It's kind of like being a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, right? But we know that rent costs are outpacing homeownership costs, so by sharing this with fence-sitting renters that want to buy homes, you might just find that this approach is very persuasive and gets them off said fence.
Further, in Realtor.com's inaugural opportunity cost report, they find that renters are missing out on material financial gains, meaning buying a home creates wealth, and that nationally the estimated wealth an average buyer would accumulate over a 30-year period based on today's dollars is $217,726.
With information like that, this might be their inaugural and their last report that they put out, because seriously guys, think about that. Tell that to the millions of folks who just had their homes foreclosed on.
Okay, that's true, but that ship has sailed because we now know that foreclosure rates, they're at pre-neutron bomb 2008 levels. The world has absolutely gotten back to normal.
Until the next bubble, Frank, because I hear bubble talk all around, bubbles everywhere.
People talk bubble because we just had a big one pop. It doesn't mean we're gonna have another one. Let's face it, planes crash every year, but you still fly. Because for us, a 1-hour flight to Vegas is 12 hours in the car. It's risk reward. Same thing with home ownership. You create wealth, you freeze your housing expense, and yes, you expose yourself to another bubble that's probably not going to happen. Oh, and even if it does, you still freeze your housing expense because I gotta tell you, if we have another wave of foreclosures, what do you think happens with those foreclosees? They become renters.
So if you're not connecting the dots, your rents are still going to go up no matter if there's a bubble or not. Okay, so people want to buy homes. They believe overwhelmingly that owning a home is a good idea. We've got empirical evidence that proves buying a house is a good idea, yet we're still a nation of renters. Why?
Twofold. One, we as an industry are not sharing the benefit of home ownership with renters. I mean, just because you understand the position doesn't mean your future clients do.
And two, according to the New York Fed, all those that want to become homeowners believe they can't get a mortgage. Let's face it, we've done a great job leading people to believe that lenders are the scum of the earth and want to screw you at every opportunity and you can't get financing. Thanks, Rich Cordroy.
Which keeps people at bay. So people don't buy even though they know they should and want to because of a healthy serving of no and misinformation.
All right, now, because you can't control the reams of misinformation and mudslinging agencies, You need to control what you can. It's your message.
So dust off the oft discussed but seldom used talking point of buying freezes your housing expense and follow it up with a little of what we discussed today. At worst case, just send this video to all of your past clients. And if you're receiving this video as a consumer, just call the person that sent it to you. They can help you out.